Hello, everybody. This is my submission to Brackeys Game Jam 2025. I was really excited for this Game Jam after the last one I participated in, which was the GMTK one, I believe, if I got the acronym correct. Now, this one I really liked because I didn't have to use any specific engine. You could use any engine you want. You could use, pre-made assets that you already had. You could, do all that. So it really fit because I wanted to make sure my character for Amazing Mouse is the character I use. It is a 3D platformer, and because this game jams are fun, I can test out ideas, but I also want to market that I am creating a game. Look forward to it. This is sort of a demo to what the game will be like, at least because you'll have all your powers, or almost all your powers, and it's the same kind of jumping around that the game will be. So I'm using this as a marketing. I'm using this because it's a lot of fun. I'm testing out the ideas. And I got really lucky with the theme Risk It for the Biscuit because all the other ideas I was kind of going to force in. Risk It for the Biscuit was the only one I actually had an actual idea of how to do it because since I was doing a 3D platformer, I would be able to easily do Risk It for the Biscuit. All I had to do was make sure that there were multiple ways to get to the end. One way will be a currency, which you grab a biscuit. That'll be a currency, and that'll be the harder way to get the biscuit. Some of it is also kind of psychological, where it's not harder per se, but you still have to think like I may shove a bunch of stuff in front of you, and it will just kind of like jumble together. So the path to getting through it may not be super hard, but it's kind of confusing if you just kind of like stare at it. Another level I will show you right now is, yeah, it's this one. Boop, boop, doop. This is a perfect example of Risk It for the Biscuit, a psychological way. So this is a platform, and this is a pit that will hurt you. So you can either kind of go across these platforms and get to the end, or you can risk it for the biscuit and try to get the biscuit. And as I show you, so if you jump down, you get hurt, and you get popped back up in the beginning. And now you see there's a biscuit, but everything's black. The walls are black, the platform is black, that's black. You do know there's a door down there, and that door will actually just teleport you back up here in front of the door to go through. But if you jump, you can still get hurt. So you kind of actually do have to jump at the biscuit and go through the biscuit, you know, and then you land on the platform. I was going to make the platform a lot smaller, so you could only go like about like here, and you had to jump through and kind of land near the door. But I thought that was a little bit too hard, and I do worry about the difficulty with this game. But that's basically the psychological risk it for the biscuit aspect of it. Now this game, okay, so I'm going to start spoiling all the levels and spoiling how everything's made from here on out. So if you want to play the game first and not learn all the tricks and trades and how to beat each level, you can go play the game first right now. This is your warning, spoiler alert. But I am going to now zoom out and show you how I am created the roguelike of it. So about a week before the game jam, I started thinking about my Amazing Mouse game, the game I'm currently working on, which is a 3D platformer focused on mazes and obstacle courses, not really focused on enemies. Most of the all the enemies are going to be moving platforms, moving spikes, things dropping on you, things moving around. That is because I just don't know how to make enemies yet. I think I'll do enemies in another game later, but it's too much. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Now, the question is, I wanted to make a roguelike because I've been playing a lot of roguelikes for the past year, a lot of roguelikes, and I really do love roguelikes because you don't have to think too much. You can just play them. You don't have to learn a story there is usually a story, but you don't really have to learn it. And I thought, well, what if I made a roguelike for Amazing Mouse as one of the, later sequels? It would be kind of an easy thing to go off of because I already had the art style. I already kind of had all the stuff. I would have so much made in the first game that I could make a second game, which would probably just be all the levels I didn't get to for the first game. And if I made a third game, I would like to make a roguelike and focus on 3D platforming, mazing, obstacle courses, and not so much on shooting or, I could even do collecting but these games aren't really collectathons either. And so I thought this would be a perfect way to test that. So not only test that idea on how I would create a roguelike 3D platformer, because I don't know how to do a lot of the random stuff, but how would I create a roguelike level for my current game? And that's basically what this is. So to create a roguelike, it's not going to go on infinitely, but it will have randomness, you will have a shop, and you will have a boss room. So you start out here, you get your first power up. Now in the Amazing Mouse game, you would probably already have all your power ups at this point. But in this game, you're going to have a power up uh, of double jump, glide, or shrink, which are all the powers you get in the actual game. Then you get randomly teleported to here. Every door will send you to one of 3 rooms, and so you'll go through all these 3 rooms, and then you'll get poured to a boss room. The boss room is a very, lots of stuff, lots of things to run through, lots of things to run around. You kind of have to be a little creative because something like this, where it's completely engulfing the path, you have to jump to the side and jump back in. And I'll show you how to beat all these levels, and the easy way to beat all these levels, and the sneaky things I put in the levels, and how I incorporated each ability to beat the levels. Now, and each section, there was going to be 3 sections, grass, ice, fire, or circus. And if I had time, I was going to do circus. I was going to do, which is the final level over there. Each one has their own uniqueness to it. This one had spikes and rollers, and these rollers and a pit. And then if you go to the ice levels, the ice level has ice, so you slip and slide around, rollers that go in a circle, and giant snowballs that will roll down and squash you. Also, there will be icicles that drop from the ceiling, and I also made these icicles, which stand in place, but I just thought they were really cool. And I kind of made a little, each kind of one themed, where these are dodging the falling snowballs, these are running through the rolling ones, and these are kind of like mazes with icicles dropping, because it's super easy to avoid these icicles. And these are kind of like mazes that you have to get through. This one, the maze is down here if you fall. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, I was not able to make a boss room for the ice, but I was able to scrape together a final boss room to which you can use all your abilities to beat, is the circus theme. And the circus theme, I introduced balloons you can jump on, balls you can jump on. I brought back the pit. To be honest, this was pretty rushed, and you have to hit all the buttons to get to the end. But if I had more time, I don't know. I had plenty of time, to be honest. I just got burnt out with trying to come up with all these ideas, and I got really tired, and I started procrastinating. Midway, I got a lot done. I think I got like this whole stuff done in the first day or two, and then it took me so long to do these because I was just dragging my feet. And then the last day or two, I was able to complete the last couple rooms, and then I was able to do this yesterday. And it just took me a long time. Also, I had more errors pop up when I was trying to export the game again. So it did take me half a day to get the game to work. Now, I'm going to show you how to beat these levels. I think you can do a no power run, but I'm not sure. I didn't test it. If you want to use it, that's why I have this bug room, which is, for some reason, when I was testing this, I had 2 powers when I got to the next room instead of just 1. And these doors don't open if you already have the power, so I was afraid people were going to get locked out of the game, because I don't know what caused it, and I didn't have time to figure out what caused it and what the bug was. So that's what this door is. This door will just push you ahead without giving you any powers, in case, for whatever reason, you got your powers and you still need to go through and you were getting stuck here. So in this whole thing, it tells you I found a bug that can lock you in this room. This door won't give you any powers. It will just push you ahead. But if you wanted to see if you could do a no power run, you can kind of go through there and just not have your powers. I think glide is the best ability to get in the beginning. because it's just the easiest way to platform. Double jump is your second easiest, and of course shrink will be the hardest, but shrink also does have its benefits. Now the first room will test, each power. There will be one specific way to do each power. Now again, you can go through there, or you could just go through here. You could face these rollers over here, or you could just face the one big roller. If you had shrink, you'll just walk right underneath this. If you have glide, you can just do this and jump out of the way. Now you can see the biscuit is stuck amidst all this chaos. And here's the easier one. It's just adding a second roller, and you can't use shrink to run underneath it. So you could take the easy route and get to the end, or you could risk it for the biscuit. Now the best way to do this is to glide over and land here, because right here there is no obstacles. And these obstacles do have a pattern, so you could actually just figure out the pattern, run through them, and just easily run around them. And that's pretty much how all my obstacles work. There is a pattern to run around them, but you do have to kind of be a little sneaky about it and just pay attention. Or you could have double jump or glide and just do this. Again, but shrink also works because shrink helps you get around these obstacles as well. So shrink is more just getting around obstacles. Oop. Almost messed that up. And now there's platforms that go up, down. There's platforms that just fall. See, pretty much easy. You just have to keep moving forward. I made these a little easier because, as you just saw, they do go up and down a little bit before they fall, which can kind of ruin your jump. And that's just what happened to me there. It ruins the jump. So that's why you kind of got to be a little quick or a little patient. There is a timing to when you have to jump when you're on those. Just like when these are moving up and you jump, you can get a little extra height because the momentum of just going up a little will push you up. Here, if you had shrink, you could just go underneath this and get that button. Also, shrink will allow you to run underneath these. So for the most part, you'll be fine. Of course, these ones are going back and forth. You'll be hit by the pole in the center, so you can't do that. And even this takes me a little bit of a trial and error to get. But if you risk it, you'll get the biscuit. Now the boss room has 3 biscuits, and okay, and the what's it called? The shops will have 3 main power-ups that will cost 3 biscuits, and then you can buy extra health or healing item, which will cost 1 biscuit each. So if you get all the biscuits, you'll actually be able to get 2 power-ups, which is movement speed, jump height, and more health. Another chance of getting hurt, which will also heal you by 1, because I thought that would be fair. I'm not going to give you an extra health slot and not give you that and not heal you a little bit, but I also didn't want to heal you fully because I feel like that would be too powerful. Now this room, I am a little afraid it's a little bit too much because even I had a hard time doing this, and this is again another chaos inducing one, but if you hug the wall here, you can beat it. Now I'm hoping people don't notice that and people will learn that later. I want them to actually run through all this and find your way through it, because you can find your way through it. But then when they find the path, the easy path I laid out for them, they can beat that. And again, if you have shrink, you can easily just get through that. And you won't have to worry. Now with these spikes, I should also mention that you can touch the side here, you just can't touch the middle. So if you are quite a platformer enthusiast, then you could actually ride those guys up to the next level. And since I felt like the bottom was so hard to do that I made the top pretty easy to get through. And that's why there's not a lot of stuff up here, because it's also intended for you to jump back down there multiple times. because the final button is over there, and you start right here, you go all the way around, and you get to the final button. Now, if you have glide, you can just jump over here and do this. Unfortunately, you can't do that with the biscuit over there. And with these giant gaps, you can just jump and dash over, but it's hard. It's kind of like I made it so you just get over, so you have to time it pretty right. And that's how you get over there if you don't have glide. But if you have glide, it'll be a lot easier. And then in glide, you're supposed to glide back down here, and now you're back down here, and you have to run through this again. And right here, I didn't make it so that you can just constantly run through it. Those first couple obstacles will hit you. They do touch the wall. All right, moving ahead to the next room. I'm glad I got through this room a lot faster while recording this time, because sometimes it takes me quite some time to get through this room. And it's unfortunate I couldn't make an ice version of these rooms, a boss room. And as you can see, it's just another, I just used the tutorial room and I just slapped a shop in it. Oh, that's weird. It's a weird shadow here. Don't care. Game's done. It's out. So yes, this will heal you. This will give you another health. This will give you jump or movement speed, and this will give you jump height. As you can see, out of biscuits, each one will cost 3. Those cost 1. And you get a little extra jump, and you get a little extra movement speed. Oh, and this is what I'm talking about. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. Hit the button. Now it'll open. All right, now when I came here during my testing, 2 of these doors were closed because I already had shrink, and somehow going through the first levels gave me glide. So, yeah, hit the button. Don't forget to hit the button. Don't go through the door without your ability. And then keep going. So again, these icicles are more fun to listen to because you can just keep moving forward. They'll fall, and you kind of have to, sit underneath them for them to hit you. There are bigger ones in here that you can't just walk through. They will hit you if you're just walking. And funny enough, for some reason the trigger is also down here. So when I was testing it, you'll see that, see, like here are the big ones. You will see that they'll be already down. And this is what I'm talking about with the extra jump height. Look at that. And if you double jump, you can actually get up here. And as you can see, some of these big ones are already down, which it was supposed to block your way and add extra platforms. I don't know why they fall down, because the trigger to hit them is right here, but it could, since they're bigger, I probably have the trigger down there more. But yeah, if you also just touch them while they're up here and you're jumping around up here. Oh, that was my last health. You'll get hurt. I gave you 5 health because I felt it was a little hard to get through all this, even for me, and I'm the one who made it. So that's why I gave you 5 health, just to kind of be fair. And help those who aren't normally constantly playing 3D platformers get through the levels a lot faster. So anyways, yeah. Next room. Ah! I like this room because of exactly that. The ball will roll at you, but I didn't want it to hit you, so it just falls. Now, the biscuit is actually below us in here. And if you run up in here, you can actually go down. You can shrink and drop down. Or you can drop down here. And there's all these spikes, as you can see. And there's you're on ice. So you kind of have to be very careful when you get through here. Or if you have double jump and extra jump and glide, then you can easily just kind of jump over them. Ah! Got hit by a snowball. Next level. This one I thought was cool because I made all these balls that go all the way around, but I didn't want to make another tunnel one, so these are kind of like ramps, and these balls will hit you on the platforms. Now, I am kind of overpowered right now, so I can just do this. But the idea was, if you drop down here, there's no way to get back out. You'll get hit by the balls, or you'll get hit by the spikes. Ooh, I am stupidly going through these. And then you still have to get over here. And of course, there's a little bit of slippery down there too. And I put those spikes there to add just a little extra obstacle, so you can't just kind of like run up and around the platform. Now, you're supposed to have a boss room before this room. Of course, I didn't get to it, as I've mentioned multiple times, to which you could get another jump or movement speed. I'm almost out of health, so I'll actually just stick with a life. And let's heal myself. See, now I have 3. Alright, and now we go to the final room. Again, there was supposed to be a third section, which I was really looking forward to, because that's when I know you had all your powers, and I could really, invent something cool instead of having to make sure that you could get through it without all your powers. But yeah, and then it was going to be circus themed. Oh, well, I had a fire theme idea, which lava would rise up. The pits would be lava. So instead of, the pit hurting you and teleporting you back to the beginning, you would have to get out of the pit before you died. And that was kind of it. Then I was just going to make it like rock balls fall on you. But I also wanted to do a circus theme because I like circus stuff. My clown is the okay, yay. My jester is the main character of my games, and I was gonna kind of do a bit of a cameo with him. But nope. Unfortunately. Boop. Boop. So here you're supposed to use the balloons to get up. You could also just use this ladder if you're skilled enough to do that. But also you could use this ball in the center. Boing. I didn't really have too much of a plan with this level. I just wanted to get a third level in which you could use all your abilities out. And come up with some new obstacles, which is the balloon popping. And the ball. The ball bounces you up pretty high, and then the balloon popping will bounce you up a little bit. So here, I didn't really know what to put over here. I was like, okay, lion cages, that's circusy. And you could run under these, so that's why I was like, okay, here's some crates. Now here, you could actually shrink down and run under and beat it that way. Or you could go around and jump around and beat it that way. It would have been cool to put like a creature in there, but of course I was never going to have time for that. Like something you had to dodge before you could hit the button. And finally, we get to the Ferris wheel, and you come over here and you see that the button's up there. Yes, if I had more time, I would make this moving. And I'd probably put the button somewhere else, but didn't have time. So came up with something real quick. It was circusy. So the idea is you're actually supposed to go over to that side or this side, but you're supposed to hit one of these balls to hit one of these balloons. And then that will give you enough oomph to get on top of the circus tent. You have to hit the top of the balloon to get up there. So since the balloons don't give you as much height as the balls, you're supposed to do it like this and get up. But one thing I can show you is these balls. Damn it. 2 health. If you keep gliding on the balls, since you're in glide mode, the gravity is lessened and you can kind of fly up. So So the idea is to hit this balloon. Darn it. Hit that balloon, and then they'll give you another boost to give you another double jump to get over here. You could also just come over here, jump on these, and get up here that way. Yay, doors open. And then, ta-da, golden biscuit. Why is my confetti not working? Well, this is dumb. This is awkward. There's supposed to be confetti that comes down. Yay, golden biscuit. Play again, quit. See? Confetti. Maybe this was actually a pre-made asset for one of a different game I was making, one of the first games I started to make, which was about, you know, those games where you run through gates and they give you points. Well, this is what that was supposed to be, except it was going to be a math game, and it was based on football, and you're going through the seasons of spring, fall, winter, and then the final section was the championship. So this confetti would be raining down on you as you're running through it because you are running for the touchdown. Anyways, that's where the confetti came from. And unfortunately, I don't know why it didn't pop up. Maybe it's on a timer that I don't know about. It's supposed to just keep looping. Anyways, golden biscuit, yay! And then hopefully the goal of this, I would be happy if people did click that play again and try to run through it one more time, at least one more time, and hit up one of these others. Because I did make 9, 10, 9. I did make 20 rooms. Specifically to give the illusion of a roguelike so that you could randomly go through all these and randomly get through. I also want to see if anyone can do it with no powers, because I think you can. The only room, this is the only room that I don't think you can get through without any powers. Well, not this specific room. I mean, the first 3 rooms I made it so that you had to use your powers so that you would, get used to it. This is the shrink path. And then that was, actually, you could probably go through there. Yeah, you can just do this on this run. Okay, so yeah, you could probably get through this without any powers. So yeah, who wants to do the no power run and see if it's possible? But yeah, you're supposed to shrink through there. The thing about this path I wanted to make, let me turn my cheat code back on real quick. It's kind of like one of the last things I want to show you. I want people to use their powers in creative ways. So here, you could jump, shrink, jump, and get to it like that. Here, you cannot do that. So that is why I made this little thing. At first I had it to which it was right under here, but what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to jump, dash, and then shrink. Maybe you're not supposed to dash. Since shrinking gives you a smaller jump, you're supposed to, yeah, okay, don't dash. I'm messing it up, sorry. Just jump, shrink. Oh, forgot to turn the powers back on. There we go. Jump, shrink, dash. There it is. That's the combo. So that's kind of what I want. I want people to shrink down and then jump through an obstacle and then shrink back out. Because you have about a second to shrink in and out and use your powers that way. Let me show you where else you can use shrink. Let's see, like here. Actually, really get the point across. Let me go to the final level here. So again, I made it so you could shrink under here and go under there and hit the button, get that button really quick. But you can also use it so you're less of a target. Ouchies, unless you run into it. These will not hurt you. See, they go right above you. Now, if you hit the center, they will hurt you. Oh, I am completely wrong. I did not. Huh, that's not supposed to do that. You're supposed to get hurt if you hit the center. Ouchies. Why did that hurt me? Okay. Well, I don't know. But this is the point. To which you can just run underneath these. And then of course these ones go back and forth. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to do that. These ones you get around by jumping out and then jumping back in. Jumping out, you can also jump on top, get hurt, die. Ouchies. But yes, that is how you get around these. Jump out, jump back. Jump out, jump back. Oop. Use your powers. Now this is another one. See, it will not hurt you if you're tiny. And that's what the shrink is supposed to do. Make you less of a target, make it easy to get around these obstacles. Reduces your jump, reduces your movement speed, but makes you go through underneath stuff. Also, you might sometimes it gets a little bugged, to which when you grow, you get a little extra height because of it just hasn't gone back to your normal height for some reason. I don't know exactly why. I just know sometimes when I come back out, I have a bigger jump height than I'm supposed to. Yeah, like that. But it always goes back to normal. You can only get it like after one jump. So I don't know if it's landing is what turns it back or if it's just needs a second turn back. But yeah, that is my game. I've been rambling on for a half hour, so you now know the secrets to beat it. You now know why I made it, why it's roguelike, all of that. I hope you enjoy it. I worked really hard on this. I got so much further with this one than I did with the last one. And it's not just because I had almost twice as much time. It's mainly just because I had the idea before starting this. I was going to make sure that the theme, whatever the theme was going to be, I was going to make sure the theme was going to be a part of it. I was going to shove the theme in. There was stuff like Magic Backpack, and I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to make that the theme. I'm probably just going to have you run through backpacks or something simple like that. Another one was like inventory something. I don't think I was ever going to make anything out of that. But most of these themes are like half the themes I could figure out how to like make a good game out of it. Other ones I was just kind of like shove in there and blatantly make it so I wanted to make what I wanted to make. But point is, I had everything kind of planned out ahead of time. That helped a lot. And I kept it simple. I made sure that the traps were, a pitfall, this thing, a roller. I made sure that there's only a couple traps per each spot. The pitfall turned into sliding ice. The rollers turned into balls. There's stuff that drops down from the ceiling. It's all pretty much using the same movement logic, the same, obstacle logic, just in different ways. And if I wasn't too lazy about it, I definitely got lazy. I got burnt out with this. I could have had a third section before the final room in which you guys could have enjoyed, all your powers to the fullest. And that's the whole point of a roguelike, is to be super overpowered at the end of the game. So, hope you enjoy it. This is definitely a super long explanation, but I also just showed you how to go through the entire thing too, all the secrets about it. So, have a good one. Bye-bye.